Hello, Potter's House of Fort Worth family. Dr. Angela coming to you today. I'm putting on my mental health professional hat, and I'm going to be talking about 5 different ways that we can stay mentally healthy during this pandemic. A lot of us are not doing okay. We're not able to leave the house. We're not able to go to work. We're separated from our loved ones. Some of us are even mad we can't go get our hair cut. Now, a lot of different people are experiencing this pandemic in a lot of different ways. So today I'm going to be focusing on our seasoned saints, our older adults, specifically those who are about 60 years of age and older. And I'm going to be talking about 5 things that they can do to protect their mental health, their mental wellness during this pandemic. So let's get to it. So being quarantined is bringing about a lot of different emotions and a lot of different people. But what I'm noticing is that a lot of people are struggling with 2 main things. That's symptoms of anxiety and symptoms of depression. And so that's what we're going to focus on first. We're going to focus on the fact that feeling anxious and feeling depressed right now is not unusual. You're not crazy because you're feeling these symptoms. We don't even fully know what we're up against with COVID-19. So feeling anxious and feeling depression is not unusual. But what we have to do is to learn how to manage those symptoms so that they don't overwhelm us. So the first tip that I'm going to give you is a way for you to manage your anxiety. Sometimes we fear things because we just don't know what we're up against. So the first thing I want you to do is to get good knowledge. Go to the websites for the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Go to the website for the World Health Organization. Go to your primary care physician. Get good information from trusted medical professionals and scientists about what COVID-19 is and how you can protect yourself and protect your family. And though I want you to get good information, I don't want you to get too much of it, because getting too much information is almost as bad, if not worse, than not having any information at all. When you're constantly in the newspaper, when you're constantly watching the news or on Facebook, looking at the numbers, seeing how many people have perished because of this virus, that brings about a level of anxiety because you're starting to wonder, am I going to be next? Or is somebody from my family going to be next? So though I want you to get a good information so that you're not afraid of COVID-19, I also don't want you to get too much information because that can be just as bad. The second thing that you could do to manage your anxiety is to manage your risk by protecting yourself. You cannot control this virus. You can't control other people's response to this virus. You can't make people wear a mask. But what you can do is control your response to it. So do as much as you can. Take your health seriously. Take the sanitization of your home seriously. Take your safety seriously. And feel good that you're doing your part to protect yourself and to protect your community. And because of other health issues that you might have, remember that you may need to start loving on your family and friends from afar. They may have to stay a safe distance away from you to keep yourself safe. So keep people out of your home. It might require some tough love, but tell them they got to stay outside. Get creative with your visits. Do drive-by visits. Use technology to stay connected. You may have to get your groceries and other essential items delivered. But one way that you can keep your anxiety and your worry down about whether you're going to contract this virus is by keeping yourself protected and managing your risk. The third thing that you can do to manage your anxiety and your depression is to know the triggers that alter your mood. You need to understand what sort of things make you feel nervous, what sort of things make you worry, what brings about symptoms of sadness for you. You need to know, be self-aware, know the things that make you go into that space that's not a good place for you to be. And then, not only do you need to be self-aware and know your triggers, you also need to know the things that you can do to bring yourself back to a peaceful state, to bring your equilibrium back. For some people, that could be prayer. It could be meditation. It could be reading the Word of God. It could be talking to loved ones. It could be deep breathing. You also need to remove yourself from stressful situations and places. And sometimes you have to remove yourself from people who stress you out. You may have to put up your little church finger and excuse yourself from the situation just to keep your peace. So I think another way that we can make sure that we manage our anxiety and manage our symptoms of depression is by being self-aware enough to know that what our triggers are and what we can do to manage that anxiety and depression so that we can bring our peace back and keep ourselves in a state of equilibrium. For the fourth tip on staying mentally healthy during this pandemic, I want to focus on sadness and depression. And I want to focus on the fact that there are, unfortunately, a lot of people who are losing their lives during this time. A lot of them are losing their lives due to COVID-19 and complications of COVID-19, and there are others who are losing their lives for other reasons. The reason notwithstanding, we cannot be in denial about what's going on. We have to be open and realistic about the deaths, about the state of our world, about the state of our nation, about the state of our community. We're not doing good. People are losing their lives. But we cannot dwell in that sadness. We have to mourn it. We have to feel that emotion. We have to mourn them in the best way that we can. Sometimes we can't attend a funeral. Sometimes we have to mourn from afar. Sometimes we can't be near their bedside when they're dying, and that's hard. But we cannot take any responsibility for that, and we cannot feel guilty for that. We have to mourn them in the best way that we can, and we have to move on because right now, that's out of our control, and we need to focus on keeping ourselves and our families healthy and well. So let's mourn them as we should, but let's also focus on trying to stay healthy and stay well, not being in denial, feeling the emotions, but not staying in that sadness because that's not a place that's healthy for us. And the last tip that I'm going to give you also relates to depression because there's some other symptoms of depression that could be nipped in the bud if we just do some simple things. And I'm going to list them out for you. I want you to eat well. I want you to sleep well. I want you to exercise. If you go outside, make sure you're using your personal protective equipment. But go outside, experience nature, see God's green earth. Go to the lake and see a sunset. Don't allow yourself to be socially isolated from people. These are all symptoms of depression that if you do these things, you can nip it in the bud and you won't go into that sad place. Take up a new hobby. Take an internet class. Have you realized how many free internet classes are being offered? How many free visits to the museum virtually are being offered? Visiting national parks? Take advantage of all those things. Get up and do a puzzle. There's so many things that we can do to pull ourselves out of symptoms of depression and out of that sad mood so that we don't find ourselves there even though we're going through a very difficult time. All right, y'all. So that was 5 tips for our older adults on how to stay mentally healthy during this pandemic. Y'all, this is going to pass. We won't be in this situation forever. So what we need to do right now is to do our best to stay mentally healthy so that when we get on the other side of this, we can adjust to whatever our new normal is going to be. Know that I love you, know that I miss you, and I can't wait to see you on the other side of COVID-19. Y'all stay safe. Bye-bye.